Welcome to the .NET MAUI Cartesian charts tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to highlight specific regions by adding plot bands to both the X and Y axes in the Syncfusion .NET MAUI Cartesian charts. I will also demonstrate how to create segmented plot bands and plot lines to visually distinguish key ranges in your data. I open an existing MAUI application. Here, I have already configured the .NET MAUI Cartesian charts control and use the spline series to display climate variations across the year. To learn how to add the .NET MAUI Cartesian charts control to your MAUI application, watch the video linked in the YouTube card above or the description below. Now, I run the application. You will see that the spline series displays climate variations. Now, let me show you how to add the plot bands to the X and Y axes. The plot bands are categorized into two types: numerical plot band and datetime plot band. The numerical plot bands are used to draw plot bands for numerical axis, category axis, and datetime category axis, while the datetime plot bands are used to draw plot bands for the datetime axis. I begin by setting up the plot band on the X axis. Within the datetime axis, I add the plot bands property and create an instance of datetime plot band collection. In the datetime plot band, I specify the start and end dates to determine the range of the plot band and assign a color to make it visually stand out on the chart. Once the application is loaded, the plot band is rendered vertically along the x-axis. Next, let me add a plot band to the y-axis to highlight a specific value range. I add the plot bands property within the numerical axes and create an instance of numerical plot band collection. In the numerical plot band, I specify the start and end range and assign a color to it. Before running the application, I remove the code snippet related to the x-axis plot band. Look now, the plot band is rendered horizontally along the y-axis. Next, I will show you how to add recursive plot bands at regular intervals. I begin by modifying the values of the start and end properties to determine the range of each plot band and assign a color to it using the fill property. Then, I set the isRepeatable property to true to enable repetition. I specify a value for the repeat until property so that the bands continue until the y-axis reaches the specified limit. Lastly, I set a value to the repeat every property to determine how frequently the plot band is repeated. Looking here, the plot band is updated at regular intervals across the y-axis. Next, I will demonstrate how to create segmented plot bands on the y-axis. Before proceeding, I remove the properties related to the recursive plot band. To display the plot band within a specific date range, I specify the start and end dates using the associated axis start and associated axis end properties. I also modify the color and assign a label using the text property to display it within the plot band. I repeat the same process to add two more bands, each representing a different level of climate variation. When the application loads, you will see that the segmented plot bands are displayed, each aligned with its corresponding time range. Lastly, to display the plot lines, I set the same value for both the start and end properties. This ensures that a single horizontal line is drawn instead of a shaded band. I specify a color using the stroke property and set the stroke width for the line. Next, I add a label below the plot line using the text property. To customize the appearance of this label, I define the label style property and create an instance of the chart plot band label style class. I align the label to the start of the plot line and adjust its position slightly using the offset X and offset Y properties to improve readability and avoid overlap. I also set the font size and assign a text color for better visibility. Similarly, I update other plot lines with the same styling. Before running the application, I remove the code snippet related to the segmented plot band. Now, the plot lines are displayed along with their customized labels. Let me wrap up this video. You have learned to highlight specific regions by adding plot bands to both X and Y axes in the Syncfusion .NET MAUI Cartesian charts. You also learned to create segmented plot bands and lines to distinguish key ranges in your data visually. If you would like to see this example's working code, download it from the GitHub link in the description below. I have also included a link to check if you qualify for our community license, which gives you a free license key for all our .NET MAUI controls. If you found this video helpful, click the like button and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.